Hi Libra, welcome to your September 2023 Astro-Tarot scope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. Though if you're only going to watch one, I do advise that you make sure it's your ascendant sign. It's likely to be the most accurate for you. I use whole sign, tropical, Western astrology for those of you that must know which systems I'm using. And also, remember that these are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody. That is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So also, if you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and this resonates, hit that subscribe button. And I also want to say, for those of you that are celebrating this month, happy damn birthday to you. I truly hope you have a wonderful solar return. And with that said, let's get straight into your reading. So I'm going to move these to the side because these will be for your moons. And I have here, excuse me, your ooh, okay. All right, so the first transit that I want to look at for you over the course of this month, Jupiter, the Lord of expansion, abundance, growth, luck, levity, integrity, and also future vision, right? And our belief systems. Mercury, the Lord of haste, speed, money, transactions of money, merchants, sales, communication, and conversation. Both of these planets are going to be retrograde. Now, it's not a big deal that either one of these is retrograde, right? Mercury does it 3 to 4 times a year, the retrograde whore, as I like to call him. And Jupiter goes retrograde once a year for about 3 to 4 months. Now, so that's, you know, on their own, not massive things. However, they're going retrograde and they are coming into an exact trine. This is quite, you know, but just because of the way that they happen, this doesn't happen so often. And so I really wanted to pay attention to this, right? So for you, this is happening across your 8th house of other people's money, finances and resources. But it's also a very deep house, right? The 8th house is our deep psychological makeup. Whereas and the other house that this is happening in for you as well is your 12th house. So your 12th house is Virgo energy and Mercury is exalted in the sign of Virgo. So it's already going to be doing good work there, but it's helping you refocus, rededicate yourself. It's also helping you and potentially bringing communication back from things or people from your past. Now, the reason I feel like this is important is because that 12th house is a liminal space. It's an intangible energy. And so because it represents the past as well, and it represents our deep sort of spiritual and, you know, our connection to the cosmos, but not like the 9th house. The 8th house is an occult house, right? So both of these spaces are actually very spiritual, but they tend to lean towards sort of the darker, deeper, more sort of taboo energies. So these are just things that I want you to be mindful of. Now for you, this really is going to be about reclaiming all of those rewords, redo, re-edit, relaunch, redefine, redesign. All of those are retrograde energy words, right? This is about you reclaiming your personal power because the 8th house is power. It's, you know, it's also conflict and transformation. It's possibly you rethinking some kind of action, pattern or addiction that you have. And it's potentially stuff that stopped you achieving things that you desire. This is where you're kind of looking at stuff and saying, okay, you know what? I have the power to overcome this and I'm going to do it. So it is a moment of deep and powerful honesty, but I advise you to be gentle with yourself here as well. Now, Jupiter in that 8th house naturally brings an energy of healing for you. So this could be really great in that regard. This could also be you getting some kind of financial blessing or gift. Especially this could be like in terms of like some kind of return. So for good deeds, past efforts and things that you've put out into the world, because the 8th house represents taxes as well. This could be a tax rebate. It could be an old client comes back if you've got your own business. You know, Mercury ruling your 12th house and 9th houses and your Jupiter ruling the 3rd and the 6th house for you, there's a very big chance that like some kind of spiritual or spooky experience could happen in like a really, like something that you can't really explain or put into words, could happen in like a really mundane sort of place. But it shows you that the universe absolutely has your back. Be open, be on the lookout, because it could be stuff that really changes for you, but it comes through or in like the most everyday of places. For this, you've got the Ten of Pentacles, so it's very likely that this is going to be some kind of financial blessing. You've got this with the Knight of Wands, okay, and the Ace of Pentacles. For those of you that have had problems, challenges or issues around a home, a property, some piece of land or real estate that you own, this could bode very well for you. There's support coming in here from people that maybe it's not even so much that you don't think that they like you, it's more a case of you know them, there's no particularly special bond, but all of a sudden it's like someone or something comes through for you in a way that you really don't expect. The Ace of Pentacles is a beautiful card for new homes, a change of location. It's also potentially a new job as well. And because Jupiter rules that third and sixth houses for you, I do wonder if this is potentially some kind of opportunity that opens up in that regard. And because Jupiter's retrograde in that 8th house for you, Jupiter is opportunity, right? So this could be the returning of opportunities, or maybe you get a second chance at something that you hadn't had before. So love this for you. So that's the 4th of September. On the 8th of September, the Sun is going to come into a trine with Jupiter. So in astrology, so this is happening across the same houses, the 8th and the 12th. In astrology, the Sun trine Jupiter is one of the luckiest aspects there is, right? So this is again happening across those really deep sort of internal spaces for you. The 8th house being, you know, spirituality, but it's like tarot, astrology, the occult, you know, energy work, psychic energy, etc. You could be super psychic at this time, right? Especially around that, like the first two will do it. Mercury in the 12th brings a lot of psychic ability. It heightens those kinds of things, and even bouts of telepathy. So these could be really heightened for you at the moment. But the Sun trine Jupiter retrograde, this is a powerful energy, and it's a lucky energy as well. This is blessings that come from the spirit world or the otherworldly connection. This could be from a message or a powerful insight that comes in, or like potentially from like a psychic or a spiritual advisor. I love this because it's like illuminating some of the deepest parts of you, and it's bringing happiness and attention from the deepest levels of like who you are. So the 12th house for me, the way I typify this, it's the space in the chart that houses the door that you use to access the other world for knowledge, wisdom, healing, psychic awareness, all of that kind of stuff. Jupiter has an energy of prophecy and vision about it, and it's in your 8th house of the occult and all kinds of spiritual matters. It's connecting in supreme harmony, as one of my favorite astrologers, Nadia Shah, likes to say, with the Sun, which is now in your 12th house. It's shining a light, the light of authority, the light of warmth, the light of light itself, and the energy of warmth and healing and, you know, potentially illumination in the deepest part of you. So it's helping you connect to and access your own psychic spiritual awareness and ability better than ever before. And it also suggests that anybody that works in those occult realms is really able to give you very good information and pinpoint accuracy at this moment in time. So, you know, use it. And it doesn't have to be with me, right? You don't have to book in with me. That's not what I'm doing here. What I'm saying is this could be one of the best times for you to get a reading right now. So it might also be that you get like an invite from a loved one or a partner, or maybe even like a father figure, because the Sun rules authority figures and can represent the father. Jupiter can represent dignitaries, celebrities, people that are high up in their field. You might get an invite to like a retreat or to a very spiritual place or a site of some sort. I love this for any kind of journey or shadow work because it's done with ease at the moment. With these two energies connecting, like your shadow work and your ability to really see the stuff that you do or allowed to trip you up, it's like you're able to see it that much more clearly and you're able to transcend it that much easier, which, you know, is great. It's also as well, this could potentially be challenges or wounds, etc. around sex or maybe even death, right? This could be a moment where you transcend a fear of some sort in a really powerful way. So for this, you've got the Seven of Pentacles, and if you look at the card on this Seven of Pentacles, you see how the chakras are aligned with the Seven Pentacles. I love that. Because this suggests that through that patient, diligent work, you will find a sense of alignment. This is beautiful. You've got this with the Queen of Swords, okay? And you've got this with the King of Swords. So these two are a mated pair. And so there's a few ways this will show up. One, this could be an insight around a personal relationship that you have either been tied to or very close to at any given moment. And you understand how it has shaped your ideas of sex, sensuality, and relationship. So this could be like your parental relationship for sure. And it doesn't mean that they have to still be together. This could just be you starting to understand how that relationship has had a big impact on you personally and your relationship style. On top of that, when it comes to your investments, for a lot of you, it looks like you're about to, so if you have like a financial advisor, maybe you've got somebody that manages your stocks and shares and all of that kind of stuff. It could be that some of you make a suggestion, or you say, you know, I'd like to do this with my money. And maybe they say to you, well, you know, I don't think that's a good idea, so we probably shouldn't do it. This might be where you have to pull rank in a financial matter in some way, shape or form as well. So on the 16th of September, Venus is going to come into a square with Jupiter retrograde. Jupiter was very active in the sky for this month for all of us. Now, this is the third and final pass of this transit, right? So the first one was June the 11th. The second was August 21st, and the third and final one is here on the 16th of September. So this is the final square of Venus squaring Jupiter. The first one, both planets were direct. The second one, Venus was retrograde, and this third one, Jupiter is retrograde. So we get the full spectrum of this, and this one here is where we're going to see whatever was set into motion around the 11th of June. This is where we start to see it or understand it in a very much clearer kind of way, even with Jupiter still retrograde. Now, the 11th and the 8th houses is where this is happening for you. So this is about the desires that you have from your friendships and for your future. It's also connection that speaks to your future and how you make money, the future of your financial connections, maybe even benefactors who front the cash for something, but potentially expect like much more, like too much for their investment in some way. As a square creates enough conflict or challenge for us to kind of drive change, it might be that you decide to separate from a group, from a friend, maybe from a group association. Maybe you decide to have a social media break at this time, all very possible. It could also be that your goals and wishes for yourself in the years ahead are being brought into the focus now. And it's like your own ideas might be where you start to question how much you actually need another person or group to succeed. So this might be about you deciding that you're like what skills you're going to need in order to improve or to do something or to go it alone. Consider your connections wisely at this time. For this, you've got the Queen of Cups. Ooh. You've got the Six of Cups. Okay. And you've got the Queen of Pentacles. So what do we see here? We've got three queens, right? Three queens represents deception by women. Watch out for this. Now, the interesting thing is, in this triplet specifically, you've got two queens, right? The Six of Cups is a memory card and sometimes potentially represents siblings, and it can also represent... oh, come on, brain. It can also represent the past, right? Or people that we've been connected to the past. Now, because you've got the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles, these are complementary elements. Water nourishes Earth, and Earth in turn gives water life, right? So it's like a growth cycle. This is potentially, this transit of Venus squaring Jupiter retrograde, it could see you rethinking your social connections and swapping certain people out or certain group connections out. It could also, for a lot of you, because you've got these three cups here, there might be something where you discover, because the 8th house is secrets as well, You might discover something here where a friend has talked some shit about you, and you know, unfortunately that's part of the human condition. It happens, right? But this might be something that you feel is like, you know what, this is a deal breaker. Like, this is something that I can't or won't be able to get past, and I'm not accepting. And fair play to you, right? You know, stand in your ground ultimately. It will be interesting to see how this plays out though. Now, the final transit that I want to look at is on the 24th of September. Mars is going to oppose Chiron. Now, this is happening across your first house, because that's you. Mars is in your sign now. And your 7th house, which is Aries, right? So Aries is the natural ruler of Mars is the natural ruler of Aries, your 7th house. So it's playing the host to that Chiron. But Mars is in your sign where it's in its full, right? There's no way of getting around the fact that it's not in great shape here. Mars wants this, you want this, right? And you're a Venusian energy and Mars is Martian energy. These energies are opposing. They're not in each other's best sort of alignment, right? They're very, very different energies in many ways. They have many connection points. So there's that, right? Mars, let's say if we typify Mars as a sword, it can cut or it can defend. So there's still a dualistic nature there, right? So that's maybe how you tap into this. This day in general is packed with a lot of powerful energy. It's potentially going to be quite a frustrating day for all of us in some way, shape or form. Chiron in that 7th house is presenting, it's showing us a vulnerable point or a wound of some sort. And because Chiron represents wounds, but it also represents the healing that we can find from those, what this kind of says is, the energy of Mars in your sign is showing you where you need to act and where you need to put your action in order to access the healing that is in, or that comes through that Chiron that's in the sign of Aries, which is in your 7th house. So Mars is the power of action, energy, excitation, irritation, war, severing, right? It has a removal kind of energy. This means that all of us in some way, shape or form are going to be feeling a sense of frustration, but also a sense of irritation, right? Because the way forward isn't necessarily so clear cut. It's a vulnerable point for all of us. Chiron is that healing. It's your ability to find a way to heal from what we thought we couldn't. And so for that reason, Chiron is going to show you how, but Mars will be the action that needs to be taken. So Mars in your sign is making you strong, determined. It's going to see you potentially really ramming a point home. Chiron in your 7th is showing you, and this is the whole point, Chiron in Aries is showing all of us what it has cost us to be ourselves in a specific area of life. This is showing you what it has cost you to be yourself within your relationships, right? It's now time to heal that. And the way through is by doing what goes against your nature, right? But the tables are turned here. So the South Node is coming into your sign, which means it's about letting go of the version of you that you have been in favor of the version of you that you can be, right? You've got time to do this, but it starts right now. And because that Mars is in your sign, this is about saying to yourself, what do I want? What do I need? What are my decisions? Where do I want my life to go? This is about saying to your partner or your relationship person, or, you know, or even about relationships in general, if you're single, what do I want from the relationship? Where is it fulfilling me or not, as the case may be? And how can that change? And if it doesn't, what am I prepared to do about it? Finally, for this, you have the Fool card. New things, places, people, and energies when it comes to all of this. You've got the Lovers card. All right, and then you've got the 9 of Wands. So for those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, some big point of vulnerability or some big conversation or heart-to-heart is going to arise this month. And when it does, it's probably going to be around, I would say, around the 9th or the 10th of the month, right? Around that time, you and your significant other will be having very important, very big conversations about the health, the validity, you know, the frequency of your relationship. And the energy of it all. There's going to be a lot of big conversations here about this. And for a lot of you, I think this will be where you start to say, actually, this is what I need more of to be fulfilled here. And then finally, for those of you that are single, this is new love, new relationship that comes in, potentially more than one suitor, right? Comes in. Maybe you have a choice to make between, you know, people that you're dating at this time. And it's like the big message behind this, you know, and this is going to sound crazy, but I'm going to say it anyway. It may not necessarily be about the partner that is in front of you. This may very well be one of those times where the universe is saying, are you going to choose yourself, or are you going to do the same thing that you always do and continue to give your love, your energy, your power, your passion away to somebody else, right? And so this is kind of saying, okay, yes, I'll embark in this relationship with you, but let me make damn sure that I've got some things in place that stop me from overgiving, overextending, being used, and the list goes on, right? So powerful stuff. All right, so for your moons, that Virgo new moon in the 12th house, a fresh start, a resetting of your karma, maybe even a fresh start of your spiritual, maybe your spiritual relationships, and or your spiritual outlook as well in some regard. For this, you've got the gate 7 and discipline. Very interesting because you are the 7th sign. And this card is really about knowing where to do the work. And that new moon, right, is showing you that Chironic area. That's quite an interesting Freudian slip there. But that 12th house, right, where the sun is going to be, and it's going to be connecting to that Jupiter in the 8th house, that's where you put the work in this month. It's how you get the most out of it. And by doing that work, when this transit of Chiron opposing Mars comes in, I actually think you will be much more focused and disciplined to deal with the relationship stuff as it actually needs to be. And then the Aquarius full moon, is it the Aquarius full moon? No, it's not. The Aries full moon, sorry. The Aries full moon is happening in your 8th house, right? And for this, you've got the gate 39 and provocation. You know when they say the truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off? This is very much that, right? There's going to be, because the 8th house is a conflict house. There's a very high chance here that that full moon in Aries is likely to really highlight something that potentially really makes you lose your proverbial shit, right? And to be honest with you, it's like what somebody says to you is the right thing that you actually need to hear at that moment, because it makes you angry enough to say, yeah, you know what? I see that and I'm actually going to do something about it. And because that full moon is happening in Aries, it's activating that Chiron for you, all right? So there's going to be something about this for that whole 7th house relationship sort of energy. This could be personal, professional, or platonic. It doesn't just have to be about love or relationships in that regard. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.